This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, percolator. I got depressed that I saw Mike McDaniel at the podium. That was, I was hoping maybe they'd, shit can him and he doesn't show up and they just make an announcement. We'll address the media in Miami later. Perk, this is this is an all-time low, bro. We're approaching Cam Cameron stuff now.
Yeah, this is bad, Big O. So first of all, I'm not at the morgue. I am here. Dave Hyde made this road trip along with David Furones. So I'm kind of in purgatory. Is that what you would call this?
Like me.
Yeah, exactly, Big O. But yeah, this is terrible. I wrote this week that the McDaniel era is going from mediocrity to failure. And that's kind of what we saw today. Big O, 31-6. I mean, I didn't pick them to win this game. I finally learned my lesson with this team. But, boy, I thought they would put up a bigger fight than this. I know that the front seven is lacking. I know the run defense is lacking. I know quarterback play is lacking. I know that special teams is lacking. But, man, I mean, this was just pathetic. It's getting to the point where you have to wonder, are they going to quit on Mike McDaniel? Well, are they going to stop listening to Mike? As I've said, I think this team has a good fighting spirit. They'll never quit. But I think at some point they will stop listening to Mike. I don't know what's going on at quarterback with Zach Wilson being supplanted by Quinn Ewers. Zach Wilson, the direct calculated target in the offseason, and he's already been supplanted by a 7th-round pick. There's a lot of disarray going on here, Big O.
Yeah, well, that one, I'm sorry, but I was, before even training camp or anything started, I said Ewers ahead of, I thought Ewers would be ahead of him. And when we saw him in training camp, I would have taken Ewers. I was never a Zach Wilson guy, dude. He's just an athletic guy. He's got a beautiful arm, but he doesn't know really what to do with it. And he can't anticipate and all those kind of things. Ewers looks like, to me, all this is I got to give them credit, objectivity here. Here's a guy that at this point in the season is just better and has a better understanding of the offense. And that's why they elevated him for, not that he's going to save the season. As you saw it, playing under those conditions, no one is going to succeed, dude. So.
No, but you know what, Big O? How did you miss on the backup quarterback for the second straight year? Last year, they gave us all that stuff about the competition between Skylar Thompson and Mike White, and it turns out neither of them was equipped to be a number 2 quarterback in this league. And now you go out and spend, $6 million on Zach Wilson, a direct calculated target, and Mike McDaniel talked about how he thought that he could revive his career in a similar way that he did with Tua. And now here we are in week 7, and you find out you were wrong. Like, how can you mess up backup quarterback so badly 2 years in a row?
Wait. Perk, you're asking that question when the goofball that's in charge had Skylar Thompson next to him for 3 freaking years.
Yep.
And had no idea he couldn't play. And by the way, from what I'm hearing, Ewers was the front office's pick, and Zach was Mike McDaniel's pick. So, take for it as you will, overall. But I am not surprised. This is not a good coach, man. Mike McDaniel constantly proves that he is not a good coach. And his assessment of Skylar and now Zach just proves it over and over again, dude. When I look at the guy in Minnesota, Chris, I don't care who you are, bro. You can go there. And Kevin O'Connell will make you look like somewhat serviceable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of Tua, nobody looks good under this guy's tutelage. And that's where I got to see, okay, if you're a quarterback guru like Andy Reid is, Alex Smith played his best football. He played his whole career in San Francisco. When he went to Kansas City, he played his best and most aggressive football he had ever played in his life. Why? Because of Andy Reid. Donovan McNabb was the best he could be because of Andy Reid, and so is Pat Mahomes. You got to show me that you're a quarterback guru. overall. Look at what Shanahan's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? This is what I need to see. That guy has proven to me over and over again, he misreads that position.
Well, and it's the whole institutional failure here with the Dolphins, Big O, that here we are in 2025 and changes that should have been made in 2023 still have not been made as far as aggression and offensive diversity and finding a backup quarterback and all these kinds of things. And it's just like you look at this team and it's like, either A, why didn't you recognize this stuff? I mean, I've been writing about this. There's nothing that I know about this team that they don't know. They're way smarter than I am in football. We'll all admit that. But how could they either ignore it or not act on it? That's the thing with me, is the institutional failure, and it's why I think you've got to kind of take a broom to the whole operation of Greer and McDaniel and Tua. And they've all got to go. You've just got to start over again here. It did not work.
Perk, I already talked about it last week. I heard from the building, unless they win 8 or 9 games, they're not surviving. So Greer and McDaniel aren't surviving. And then, I was thinking about this now, and this one this is not information from the building. This is just me now spitballing. They're stuck with Tua next year. Well, maybe not. Because of his injury history, you might just want to pull the entire damn Band-Aid next year. And so you might, at one point here in the season, you might just want to rely on the 2 youngins for the rest of the year and keep Tua out and try to keep him healthy and go into the offseason where you can just take whatever cap hit, destroy the hell out of your team so you can reset the whole thing with a new general manager, new coach, and then he could get his quarterback. And next year, you're already going to have a high pick this year. Well, next year when you destroy it all, you'll have another high pick next year. And so now you can move into another direction. But the Tua thing, they may be forced to get out of it because, again, I don't know the language, but if you play him next year in his last year and he suffers any injuries, does that trigger any money for the following season?
Big O, you got to get rid of Tua. You've got to. You can't saddle a new GM and coach with Tua. That's the thing. That's
Doggy. I'm just talking about money. I
know. Look, you just take the pain.
You're on clean slate and all that. I'm just talking money now, and strategically, I think you have to handle that. Didn't they do that with Russell Wilson, Doggy?
Yes, of course. That's the precedent. There's nothing. Money is not obligating you to Tua. If you're serious about making a start, you either do the Russell Wilson Denver thing or you do the Kirk Cousins Atlanta thing. But you can't get an attractive GM and head coach and tell them Tua is going to be your quarterback next year. You can't saddle them with that. You're not going to get a good candidate, and you're not going to get a good result for year one of whoever you put in there. This has been clean sweep for a couple of weeks for me. Just take the financial pain. You're taking pain anyway. Take the financial pain and make the clean sweep.
By the way, Stephen Ross doesn't take any financial pain whatsoever. Okay. That property prints money. F1 just got a new deal. That little write-off, his stock goes up more than the loss of Tua's contract. Okay, so
yeah, he can afford it. Yeah,
he please, bro.
Yeah.
Give him a break. It's a tiny little write-off in his book. It's like you and me losing $39 on something and him losing $39 million. Give me a break, dude.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the big impediment would be the dead money that you incur. That prevents you from improving your team immediately. But yeah, from financial point of view, Steve Ross is not going to sweat it. It's going to be the dead money point of view that impedes further improvement, immediate improvement.
We are talking about Mr. Tank anyways. So he's always wanted to tank. So McDaniel around, you tank. Next year, you blow the whole cap up. So it'll set you up to tank again. So you'll be tanking 2 years in a row, and you'll have high picks 2 years in a row of all kinds of selections. And the front office already reloaded you with a couple of extra picks going into next year. So there you go, dude. And if you can move Chubb here at the trading deadline, there you go. You could get yourself another pick since you are going to do this kind of stuff. So to me, there's a lot of thinking going on right now. It's not so simple of just firing Mike McDaniel. It's firing Mike McDaniel and then the dominoes that then fall after that.
Yeah, and look, let me be very clear here. I don't think there should be a fire sale, right? I mean, you're not, and I don't know that there's been any serious thought to, parting ways with Waddle or HN, but Chubb and Jalen Phillips are the ones that you're looking at, right? And nobody else is realistic, or nobody else is going to get you any talent in return. You want to leave the new coach and GM something. Give them a choice.
They're not moving Jalen Phillips either. Okay, I can tell you for a fact, the Waddle stuff and the Jalen Phillips is garbage. They got Phillips controlled for one more year on a tag anyway. So the new
do you want to tag him? Here's the thing with Jalen Phillips, though, is that here's a guy who's never had a double sack season, a guy who is injury prone, and a guy who needs a contract. Unless he gives you a hometown discount, right? I mean, I'm not going to sign Jalen for, whatever his market value would be. He'd have to give a hometown discount to me.
Yeah, but I think you could get a 1-year tag on him, so he can't ask for much anyways. It's not like he can ask for much. It's not like he's going to have a big market out there. So you're better off keeping him for one more year and testing out and see if it works out. And then you can move forward if he can actually stay healthy and be. If not, you're going through a transition year next year anyway. So it doesn't. You're going to need some players. So you got to
correct.
You got to some people. Chubb is older. That one makes a lot of sense because there was a window coming up anyways in the offseason with him. So you're good. That one makes sense where you can get a pick. The Waddle stuff and the Phillips, plus nobody's going to wow you with any kind of picks for Jalen Phillips. You're going to sell them at 40 to 50 cents on the dollar at this point. And I don't even know if that's what get a 5th or 6th round pick. What's that really going to do for you, dude? Maybe you're better off bringing him back for 1 year because maybe you do end up seeing him turn the corner or whatever, or he has a good year for you. And that would be much more productive than a late round pick.
Yeah, I think Chubb has better value, and Chubb is a guy who's actually produced double-digit sack totals and made Pro Bowls, and so, yeah, he's got more marketing value. The Phillips is, probably more sentimental than anything and crossing your fingers.
Yeah. All right, so do they fire him? Do you think this happens? Because to me, I almost, if you're not firing him, then you're showing me as an owner you don't care.
I think it's a matter of when he gets fired. And I don't know what Steve Ross is thinking as far as the bye week or whatever. Again, what I say is it's when you determine players have stopped listening to Mike. And I think we are fast approaching that time. Mike is now 29 and 30 as a head coach. Or 29 and 29. He's 500 as a head coach, 29 and 31, including the playoffs. I mean, I think players at 1 and 6, they start to look around and go, yeah, this is kind of BS. Like what he's telling us is not working. We keep getting penalties. We can't get plays in on time. Tua is talking about the operation today in year 4, week 7 of year 4. You're still talking about the operation. I think these players like Mike. I think these players respect Mike, but they're not going to keep listening to Mike because what he's preaching is not getting results. They see the talent that they had that walked out the door. He couldn't produce with that. I don't know why anybody would think he can produce with lesser talent. He had the best talent this organization has had in 2 decades, and I give him and Chris Greer total credit for compiling that talent. They just didn't deploy the talent correctly. So I think players see that, and at a certain point, they tune them out, whether that's Monday or 2 Fridays from now or whatever. That's when Mike McDaniel has to go, when Steve Ross adheres that these players are no longer listening to the coach.
All right, Perk, what are they going to read from you at the Sentinel tomorrow?
Well, I think I'm probably going to lean into the quarterback situation and wonder what's going on there. I think my coworker Dave Hyde is going to kind of take the big picture, Steve Ross, Mike McDaniel, what becomes of McDaniel. And what I'm thinking now is I'll probably hone in on the quarterback situation. I don't know what happens with me during the week. I've got standby jury duty here in Miami-Dade County, so I've got a report tomorrow at 9:15 a.m.
Doesn't get picked. All right, let's all pray it doesn't get picked.
Let's hope my ignorance shines through, Big O. And the judge says we don't want this dude anywhere influencing a jury. So hopefully that happens. But I think I'll do the quarterbacks tomorrow, and we'll see what happens during the week. I might just be writing stuff at night after I get out of jury duty.
Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Perkins, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up next week, my friend. Have a terrific
Good deal. We'll do it, Big O. Thanks, man.
You got it. EJD Construction. Eric is a beast. He's been at this for over 20 years. AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau, 305-433-4843. Dade and Broward County, not condos, just homes or businesses. So if you're looking for custom home construction or major home remodeling, whatever it is you need to do, a pool, you need to redo the roof, you got to add a second floor, you call Eric. They know how to get it done. 305-433-4843. And by the way, they use shell construction to keep costs down. Call my guy, 305-433-4843.
This is the Big O Show.